Right.
That's where I'm at with it. And that's why I feel like it needs to come out and it needs to chart and we need to know how it's sold, which brings me to a conversation we had earlier this week about how streaming is calculated in terms of album sales.
Right.
Right. And we need to know how many albums it sold or how many tracks it sold. Right.
Units, I guess.
So I actually went back and looked.
All right.
I did not research. I just went and looked some shit up on the internet. Okay. So I want to, all right. So
okay.
Want to be clear because I'm getting tired of people. I went back and did the research. You ain't did no fucking research. Shut up. You ain't done no fucking research. Get out of here. All right.
All right.
So 1,500 streams is equivalent to 10 tracks.
Okay.
Which equals one album.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So if a song is streamed 1,500 times, then that would be one album sale or one.
Would it be a unit?
I guess we're gonna call it units. We could say a unit. Yes.
Okay.
So when we had the conversation, we were talking about YG.
Yeah.
Right. And they said he sold 8,000, and I was like, I don't know what that fucking means.
So it was 8,000 units.
So we were saying 8,000 units, which means it was streamed about 12 million times.
Yes.
Individually, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this metric needs to be understood.
Right.
And I think it's important for us to understand how successful people are being or not. You disagree that this is the metric to use.
Well, yes, I do disagree. I guess what I disagree with more, I don't disagree that with what it is, right? It is what it is, right? I disagree with who's defining what that is and how they are defining it.
Right? I mean, a stream is a stream, right?
So now here we are, right? You said 1,500 streams counts to what would have been one album
sale,
right? And so and I found kind of similarly the same thing. Right, with what I think it was, I heard like a 1,500 if it was on a free streaming platform, or vice versa. If it was premium, like if someone's a premium user, then they count the 1,500, and if not, if it's on free, it has to be like 3,000 or something, double that.
Okay, so if someone is paying a subscription for Spotify or Apple Music,
right,
and if they're getting it from some free service, you got to double that.
Right, and then I guess on the surface that makes sense.
Okay.
But then, right. But then it's also like, I get it because on the music industry side, they have to look at how they can quantify this thing to make it real.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we are then asking the music industry to present that to us, right? So it's like saying, okay, this guy locked up. I need a lawyer. And you're gonna give me just some bum ass lawyer?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a public defender,
right? And then it's just like, okay, that will maybe or maybe not have my best interest, right? Yeah. Right. So
the recording industry of America,
right? The RIA,
the
RIA,
exactly. You had to move 1 million albums to go platinum,
right?
You had to have distributed out 1 million albums.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that means you sent out, people ordered 1 million of your CDs at the time, tapes, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever media we were consuming at the time.
Yeah.
So you had to send out 1 million. Best Buy, Sam Goody, Virgin.
Right.
And then if you did 1 million, you're platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't remember what the gold number was, but obviously less than 1 million.
Yeah.
So we need, now that we're streaming, we need an equivalent.
Yes.
Right? Because the way we would know if something was worth continuing on was if it was going gold, platinum, double platinum, diamond,
right.
You know, plutonium. You know what I mean? Like we had to
what
know.
Is after?
We have to know.
Yeah,
right?
What is after that?
We have to know. Yeah, uranium.
I went triple uranium, right?
You know what I mean? Or was your shit not selling and it was like zinc and aluminum? You know what I mean? Like
It's copper.
Exactly. Shit's copper. You know what I mean? We got to know. And I think that as we were having a Drake conversation, so we know Drake fans, the first thing they say when they talk about Drake being the GOAT is he's the hottest selling hip hop artist ever, or whatever their metric is, right? Yeah. So we can't, I want to hold them to that.
Right.
So I'm not going to try and downplay streams, this conversion anyway, this conversion rate, to say like, well, the industry is using it as a, you know, as a red herring for how good or not good anything is doing. Because when we start talking about artistry and we start having these conversations in hip hop circles, sales is an important thing, especially to people like Drake. So are to people like Drake and to his fans, right, to the academics and everything. And they only don't want to have a sales conversation when Drake is not selling. So right now,
yeah,
they don't want to have a sales conversation.
I understand you're calling out their hypocrisy in this, right?
And I want to be able to stand on, like, okay, so Kendrick put something out.
Yeah.
And if we go look at what it is, like, not like us might win a Grammy. This nigga is calling OVO, not Drake. Like, he keeps like pointed at Drake. He's saying you run with pedos, bro. Like,
yeah,
he's saying your whole shit needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
This nigga might win a Grammy on that shit.
Yeah.
Right? And so we need to be able to stand on something.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Fucking streams is it.
I get needing the metric to then make that argument, to then make the playing field level and be like, this is it. These are the parameters. This is what we are using.
Yeah.
And that argument, I agree with you. In a whole is where we had disagreements.
Okay.
Right? Because as a whole, I get the bigger conversation we're having is I think there is an issue with how this is being reported. Fucking Joe Biden just got his fucking gold plaque for fucking for
Pump It Up. Yeah.
Gold plaque?
Yeah.
Gold plaque.
It went gold.
500,000.
Apparently, shit.
Right. That shit been out since what, 2001?
And how long niggas been watching Fast and Furious?
And there you go.
so it took a while. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It took a while. Look, I'm not here to say.
That's funny numbers. That's funny numbers.
I disagree.
That shit's funny numbers.
I disagree. That shit took like 20 years to get gold.
That shit's funny numbers.
That shit took like 20 years to get gold.
No, because it's not.
Fucking Fast and Furious might be on right now if you turn on the TV.
Okay.
That's a spin every time that shit come on.
To my point.
But that's not funny.
500,000?
Okay, so when it came out, it was hot. It was a hot song.
Okay, we're going to use the one-hit wonder argument with Joe Budden, right? That was his one hit.
He doesn't like that, but yes.
No, look.
Yes. Go.
Yeah, right? That's his one hit.
That's how you will know Joe Budden.
Hit.
That's how you will know Joe
right?
Budden.
Okay, so we're talking about the hit that it was in 01 or whatever.
Whenever it came out.
The hit that it was when it was distributed into all these films.
Yes.
Right? And the money that the label, I'm sure, made off of that song.
Yeah.
Right? And then in perpetuity, how much it's made over time in the last 23 years.
Yes.
And that's just gold?
That apparently is just gold. So apparently
you can sell me on diamond maybe. But gold is hilarious.
I mean,
to me.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I mean, it's not like Pump It Up was a fun party track back then.
Right.
But of the music that was released, was it the best track that was out? Probably not.
Right.
Right? Especially outside of New York or outside of Slaughterhouse or wherever you were listening at the time.
Yeah.
Right? So over
that
here,
wouldn't have fell in those demographics. It would have fell in the larger mass, like the masses. And
the masses weren't fucking around with Pump It Up like that. Okay. So I don't even remember all the lyrics to Pump It Up.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's at a time when I was listening to everything. And I was remembering everybody's lyrics, right? And I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing it on fucking Too Fast, Too Furious. I think that's the one it came out on.
Let's go.
Okay.
Too Fast, Too Furious was an era. Jesus Christ.
Pump it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at the song took this long to go gold. I'm not mad at that. Right? Like I know fucking Young Miami had a laugh at Joe Budden for finally going gold on that track. I think, you know what I mean? I think people find it funny. Like, this is weird. This is a weird thing to go gold on for so long. Like, this is how, And maybe if it wasn't in Fast and Furious, it would have never gone gold.
I don't know. I find it to be funny numbers.
What would be the purpose of giving Joe Budden a gold plaque right now?
What would be the purpose of it?
There is no purpose. Which is why it's believable to me. Because I'm like, Joe Budden he's admittedly out of the rap game.
Right.
He don't got an album coming out. He don't got no new music we looking for. He don't got shit going on other than a very fire podcast that I enjoy very much. Right. So that's what Joe got going on.
Yeah.
Plus whatever he got going on that we don't know about, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to get this nigga a gold plaque.
I don't know. It's not the only case of this happening too, where it's like funny numbers with, okay, that just barely went gold. Okay. Let's go off of that. Let's go off of that. Just barely going gold.
So okay. So 500.
Yes, I will trust
stream
that the RIAA and Billboard were in agreement that only went gold.
So based on the metric we know, right now for streams, okay, 1,500 streams is one album sale, which means YG's 8,000 is it's like 12 million or 120 million, something like that. I don't remember how many streams, right? So in an era, because Joe Budden is right on that, like we're moving into iTunes, nobody's buying CDs because I can get this shit on iTunes kind of shit. Where he's like right there, right.
Well, that was even before that though.
It was before that. I agree, because if you're saying 2001, I was still in high school, right? So I was still buying CDs then.
Yeah.
Well, we were burning CDs then, right? Like so.
Well, yeah, no.
Fucking LimeWire. Yeah. But which is gonna bolster my point, because way back when I was not buying everybody's CD.
Yeah.
I was fucking, my LimeWire was hot. My internet connection was on fire, right? We was, stop downloading them fucking songs so motherfuckers could get on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where we were at. So take that into account, right? Because there was a lot of bootlegging going on back in the day.
Right.
So my point is now, so we entered the streaming era, the iTunes, the Apple Music, the Spotify, the Tidals, and all this stuff, right? And if it didn't hit 100,000 or 200,000 units before when we were buying CDs, and 1,500 streams equals one album or one unit, the math makes sense that it takes 23 years and a lot of Fast and Furious spins for that shit to get to gold.
Oh man,
like that shit is very plausible to me. I don't know why this is like conspiracy.
I don't know.
That shit is plausible.
I have my conspiracy hat on for this conversation, but it's because we're saying that I have to trust the metrics that are ran through and then distributed by the very people that are going to benefit from controlling that.
So does Drake not move the units? Because if does he not move the units?
Well, weren't you just arguing earlier that maybe he wouldn't move the units the way he think he would to be able to start his own streaming service?
This version of Drake, yes, I do think that.
Right.
So, but that
streaming service is going to be all of Drake, not just this version of Drake.
He can't do all of Drake. He can't do all of Drake.
It's going to be all of Drake.
No. It's not, because then UMG is doing the streaming service. UMG owns his music.
But we're saying not just the music. We're saying his content. The entity that is Drake.
But hold on.
Because now you got me looking crazy caping for Drake, and I'm not trying to do that.
Hold on, because we're having two different conversations now. Okay.
Yes.
So now so if we go just to Drake and what his new streaming venture was gonna be, his old catalog don't go to the new streaming joint. Only the new shit that's non-UMG could go there, unless UMG is letting that shit off.
Yeah, unless they're also assisting in that.
What? Unless they're also assisting in that. So now we're assuming that UMG is trying to launch a Drake streaming service.
Yeah.
Right? In which case they're eating all the money anyway. So it's still not a Drake stream. So if I'm Drake, there's no point in doing this because I'm not getting the money from this shit anyway. UMG. So just let UMG continue to do this.
Okay.
Unless he can wiggle out of his deal or whatever. But if he does get out of the deal, UMG still owns the catalog from this point back to however long it goes, right?
Well, when did he sign the UMG deal?
I don't know. I got to do the knowledge on that one. But so whenever it is,
it's been 4 years, then it's only in the last 4 years.
He might have been with UMG before that. UMG might own his ass, right? That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, no. Well, and then to that same point, it's why it's so interesting to me that he's releasing that footage too, because then we would assume that UMG owns that as well.
I would
If they own his
agree with
likeness,
that
right?
shit. I agree with that shit.
They own his identity.
I agree with that shit. That's
They
why.
own the
That's
character
why I
Drake,
don't think
right?
he can launch a streaming service.
Right.
He can't do it until he's out of this fucking deal.
Right.
Which he could be trying to wiggle out of.
Yeah.
Or he could, or UMG, like I said, could be behind this. But if we go back to the streams conversation, right? If we go back to the streams conversation, I'm going to go back next week during the Drake segment. We are going to talk about how much Drake albums sold.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just go through and
Yeah.
I'll look at the numbers and say how much did this album sell, how much did this album sell, where they charted, and all this other kind of shit.
Right.
And we will go through the catalog. And what I'm saying is post beef Drake is not moving like pre-beef Drake.
Right.
So I don't know that starting a streaming service with all your new shit is gonna make you as much money as it was before you started fucking around with Kendrick Lamar.
Well, and you know what I wonder, and we will see it, in next week, is that in the numbers you're gonna see the numbers dwindle for any artist that you look at, right? In terms of what it was compared to in a time when
I'll do Kendrick's as well.
It was dependent on like sales, like more physical sales compared to also the time period in which it was you were selling bundles, right? Where you were selling merch with an album sale and then also a vinyl or something.
Okay.
Or also tickets to a concert all together, and that counted.
Okay.
All together, right? That was a different way of quantifying as well. They don't do that anymore.
Okay.
They don't allow that anymore. So what we're gonna see is trends, right? And the reason why I bring this up, right, because if you go on YouTube right now, right, and you look, this is something that concerns us. If you look at channels that have 20 or 30,000 subscribers, you look at channels that have 900,000 subscribers, right, equally averaging 20 to 30,000 views a video.
Okay.
What does that tell you?
That the 900,000 subscriber niggas need to get on their fucking work because they ain't streaming enough.
1.5 million, 2 million. What I'm saying is, right, there is a validity to looking at these numbers harder than just accepting what Billboard and RIAA determine stream equals this unit.
What I'm saying is, shout out Joe Budden for going gold, my nigga. Pump it up.
And I love Joe.
Shout out to Joe Budden for going gold. I hear what you're saying. Should you believe everything? Obviously, I don't believe everything. But I'm an absolute kind of person.
Right.
So either stream sales count for something or they don't count for shit. There's no in between.
Right.
For me.
Right.
So
when I would argue that they don't count for shit because no one's making any money off of them.
Somebody's making money.
The labels and the music industry is.
Okay, so if that's fine.
And who's determining the value of those streams?
Who's determining?
Those very same people.
Sure. So they said this is how we're tracking it. So if these are the numbers they're giving me, right, then all I can go off of what they're giving me. Now, if you're saying somebody's got a stream machine and they just fucking put Drake on, or they put insert artist here, will take Drake out.
I'm sure they do.
You know what I mean? And then they just got that motherfucker on rotation to get the streams up, if you're telling me that motherfuckers is fudging the numbers that way, then I'm fine. I'm in. But if we're going to do this, like there was a conspiracy to get Joe Budden a gold plaque, like I'm not in on that one. I'm kind of out on that one.
No, I'm saying the reverse. I'm saying that it shouldn't have taken Joe that long to get that gold plaque.
I'm saying that I'm out on duration because we're streaming now. Drake and Kendrick are during a time when we were streaming. Like wasn't no niggas were not buying Drake CDs. Right? The first thing Drake put out, I streamed on Apple Music.
Yeah.
So Drake has always been a victim of this streaming shit.
No, but first of all, don't say that he's ever been a victim.
I'm not saying victim. I'm saying he's always been quantified by this streaming shit.
But Drake has always played the game the way it's being played. And he's been the king of that shit. You want to give him something, he's always been the king of playing the system to whatever way. Whatever rules you put in front of me, I'm gonna adhere to that, and I'm gonna break the records.
Who are the artists you want me to see so I can give you the trends? All right, so here's what we're doing next week, peeps. We're gonna have fucking bar charts. We're gonna have all kind of shit. Yeah. We're going to fucking school about streams next week.
Oh, I think we should, right? I think it behooves us to do that, right? Because it's not only affecting the music industry, it's affecting the entertainment industry. Why did they go on a writer's block? Was for this very reason,
Yeah.
on top of AI writers and
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
else
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
was the effect of like
Yeah.
why there was a reason to have a strike, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Because the streaming
if
splits wasn't splitting.
exactly,
Yeah.
the music industry currently, the streaming splits aren't splitting, right? And I think that the way that they're being counted also isn't being valued at the way it's supposed to.
All right. So we know the music industry is going to just distribution. So in that case, it really benefits both them and the artist for a record or a track to stream very well, right? Because if you're an artist and you go to UMG distribution or Rock Nation distribution, and then your shit doesn't stream well, then you're like, what is you niggas doing,
Right.
right? And so if we get to this point where everything's distribution and we want to talk about funny numbers, because then they are truly beholden to like the numbers being like good,
Right.
and you want to talk about them fudging the numbers. But right now, Drake's Nocta deal, Drake's Sprite, or Coca-Cola endorsements, Drake's appearances, ticket sales, yada, yada, yada. UMG don't have to give a fuck about how Drake is streaming. They make money every time this nigga opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't got to fudge Drake streams because we don't give a fuck about that. The money is coming from this nigga.
But also, to that point, okay, if you were at the level of a Drake, you would naturally just know, if you guys are saying now that instead of 1,500, it's actually 3,000 is the baseline. Okay. Get these numbers up. Whatever, so it can reflect in the way that when I drop, it's true to the numbers that I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
People are expecting Drake to do how much first week?
I can tell you
sale.
it's up. Didn't do shit first week or second week or third week, right? And so
And we talked about that being a stepped on leak, and for whatever, it didn't matter, right? So what I'm saying is, you brought up this conversation, this topic. But there's a lot of things that I feel like aren't defined clearly enough to really have a serious conversation about how are they actually counted for, right? You were initially having the conversation and telling me about making sure we can have a baseline to then go off of to compare. And I agree with that, right? But that's a separate conversation to what I'm having now, right?
All right, yeah.
I'm
So because now you're saying what goes into the number.
What goes into the number?
I'm like
I don't think that it's evaluated correctly.
I'm like a stream. One stream goes into the number.
And I don't think a stream is evaluated correctly.
I don't know how else to evaluate a stream.
Because if we even just look at society now, right?
Yes.
Attention spans, all-time low.
All-time low.
All-time low.
Ice Spice made a 23
minute. Getting someone to
minute.
listen to a fucking 3-minute song?
That's
to
why
sit down and listen to a 3-minute song.
Ice Spice she put out a 23-minute album. I get it.
That plays into what we're talking about.
I get it. And that's probably why Big Sean released a 20-track album. That's probably why everybody's releasing 20-track albums.
Well, they're just trying to do whatever. Again, because those two approaches are two different things, right? If you have a 20-minute album, okay, well, that's a quick listen. Okay, fine, I'll listen to it. Right? That could be one way of looking at why that approach was made.
Right.
Whereas Big Sean could be like, well, I'm going to put as much music as I can out, and people are going to listen to it, or at least my fan base will, and that's enough of different type streams to be counted.
I need 1,500 streams. Right? So you went to listen. So 1,500 people just went to go spin Big Sean once.
Right.
Do the math. Like, right? He sold X amount of units.
Right.
We know that more than 1,500 people are streaming Big Sean right now, right? So that album, because it's 20 tracks, if you were going full all the way through the album, or if you pick out 10 tracks to stream over and over again. Right? Like you're going, so he's putting out. There's two ways to do it. The Ice Spice way, where I'm going to put out a short shit that you got to spin again, or the everyone else way that I'm going to put out 20 tracks, you're going to pick out your 10, and then you going to spin them motherfuckers, and that's how I'm going to get my streaming numbers up. Right? I don't know how else we're going to evaluate a stream other than one unique stream. Song plays, and I agree, songs are too short. These motherfuckers are barely 2 minutes. This is why I got a problem with the rap game. This is why it's microwaves. This is why we get Ian and Lil Dicky, all the rest of these motherfuckers, because now rap is too easy. You just throw it in the microwave, it comes out. There's fucking Hot Pockets now.
Yeah.
Rap is Hot Pockets. So this is why Doechi's, I keep saying it like that. Doechi's project is so good because those songs are 2.5 minutes as well.
Yeah.
But it's good music. Lotto was making some 3 and 4 minute joints on her shit.
Yeah.
Right? This is why, going back to the top of our conversation, why the women's music feels really good.
Right.
Because they're actually making projects that are worth listening to, where the rest of these niggas is out microwaving rap.
Right.
Because they're trying to, if that's what we're talking about, stream manipulation, that the artists are so trash that they only put out 2-minute joints because they're trying to run these streams up, I'm all in. But if we're saying, and if that is the industry manipulating it, then I'm in. But if we're like, there's somebody in the back room like fudging the numbers on a spreadsheet, then I'm like, okay, I guess, like, I'm not in on that.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the knowledge.
All right, we're gonna do the knowledge.
Kendrick, Drake,
I'm telling you.
the industry, part 2.
I'm on the side of the creators. That's what I'm arguing.
All right.
That's what I'm arguing.
All right. I'm on the side of the creators too. I just want them to create.
All right. There you go.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like us. That song is like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
We listened to that entirety of that fucking song.
Yeah.
The world listened to the entirety of that song.
Yeah.
So niggas will listen to a 3 to 4 minute song if it is worth 3 to 4 minutes.
Right.
But music is not worth 3 to 4 minutes, including Drake's music.
Yeah.
And that's why we are where we are. So I'm gonna do it. We're gonna look at the decline of Drake streams.
We're gonna see the decline in the music industry in terms
That's
of
fine,
streams, right?
but Drake's the king, so I don't care about the industry because that's an aggregate of artists. That's a collection of artists. So that's always going to be drugged down just based on the numbers.
Right.
Right. I'm talking about the king. The king should always be streaming at least up, trending up, or at least flat. He should never be trending down. So if I pull the fuck numbers and Drake streams as we go through the years start trending down,
it's gonna be with Kendrick too.
Niggas did not like Mr. Morale. Yeah, I agree. We're going to see a decline. And there's also less. So one album not streaming well hits Kendrick much harder than it hits Drake because Drake has a shit ton of music out.
Right.
So that's not an apples to apples comparison. If Kendrick had 20 fucking albums out, then I'd be like, all right, we can go 1 for 1.
Yeah.
But Kendrick has 5 albums out, right? And I'll run the numbers. We can pick how we're going to talk about them. And then we can talk about if streaming numbers matter. Okay. And if we come out of that and we decide they don't matter, then I'm shitting on everybody who talks about streaming numbers.
Well, that's what I'm saying now is I don't, I already don't care about it. But if we're gonna use that as a rule for our conversation going forward with Kendrick and Drake, then I think it's good to establish, right?
All right.
So I agree with that part of it. But as a whole, I don't give a fuck about streaming numbers. Because I don't trust where they come from.
People don't, but how do we know that your artist is the biggest artist? Let's say you have an artist that you like and I don't like, right? And we're trying to compare them, but just not on how I feel. Right. Because that's what we're talking about right now. If you take out the streaming or if you don't trust. But it's not
just how you feel. It's also the fact that what we were talking about earlier, like with Drake, with Kendrick, with anybody, right? You're creating a brand now, right? Drake, Kendrick, everyone, they're content houses. They're not just music anymore. Because you can't just rely on music.
What?
Don't tell me that Kendrick is not just is only music because he's putting things out with Dave Free through PG Lang, making videos for other people. That is still a source of Kendrick because that is connected to him.
What does that have to do with Kendrick's music?
That's his brand. The PG Lang video, that's attached to his brand.
Okay.
And that's not just Kendrick videos.
So, but what other videos are he putting out? Because first of all, I don't consume music videos. Not Like Us was the first music video I watched in fucking years.
So when a TV series comes out, what the streaming series comes out, that's produced by PG Lang, by Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar.
What streaming series, nigga? I don't watch these. That's what I'm saying.
But when I said when it does come out.
Oh, when it does come out.
I'm saying that when it does come out.
Okay.
Yeah. Then so now that's attached to the brand that is Kendrick.
Okay.
Just like the same way Euphoria is attached to Drake. Right?
Well, Euphoria would be attached to Kendrick.
No, Euphoria.
The show Euphoria.
Right? Because didn't he produce?
I guess. Shit. I did. Until you said it right now, I did not connect the two, but
isn't that why Euphoria? The name had a double entendre.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think about Drake and Euphoria because I don't think about teens having sex like Drake does.
Oh, please! Now you're not approaching what I'm actually saying.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I get it. You're saying Drake has some shit that he's putting out that is attached to his name and his brand.
Yes.
And it's weird. right? And all of that. And I get it. And Drake is developing a brand. But before he had PG Lang, he was a TDE artist.
Yes.
And all the music we know about Kendrick is TDE outside of these 4 slaps.
But
3 slaps.
But I don't know. It's like, again, if the pop out ends up being a festival, another source of something, right? It's attached to music, but now it's a festival.
Okay.
Right? That's a whole, now it's an entertainment event.
Okay.
Attached to the brand that is Kendrick.
Okay.
J. Cole's a great example of this too.
Yeah, Dreamville.
Yeah, Dreamville, Dreamfest or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Attaching yourself to RDC World that already has the same likeness with the name.
Sure.
I'm attaching myself to that as well.
Sure.
Right, the content space. What
This
they
is
able
not
to
much
create.
different. This is not much different than Burning Man. This is not much different than fucking Woodstock and all the rest of the fucking festivals that were out there. Some music motherfucker put it on and people came to pop out for it and all that other kind of shit. I get you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But as it relates to the music specifically and not a festival or not the Kendrick's other ventures,
Yeah.
right? Because Kendrick Duckworth, right? I know that nigga as a rapper. That's why I know Kendrick. So if
Yeah.
he drops music, we have to look at how that music does, because if it don't do good, I'm not saying his other ventures are going to be shit, but we going to be like, all right, nigga, maybe stick to that fucking YouTube thing you were doing, because this music is not good, which I think is where we're at with Drake, right? Stick to making Euphoria and whatever shit you got out there. Go grow, experience life, right? Stop making music. The only way we'll be able to get Drake up out of here, which is really what I want to do, is to be able to say, here's the metric by which we determine success.
Right.
And that metric is showing you on the downslide.
Right.
And the more you shit on that metric, the more you leave it open to ain't shit ass dudes to be in here, to your Ians, to your so's and so's, to come in here and vulture, your Post Malones, so and so and so and so. We need a metric to hold these niggas to, so that way, when it's time to clean them the fuck up out of here.
But that argument applies both ways.
I agree.
Again, Ian can do great on streaming. I have to trust that that's really what the culture's feeling.
No.
I have to trust that Ian's what the culture's feeling.
No, you don't.
Because a majority of white people in a place that I don't hang out at listen to Ian.
No, you don't.
That's what I'm arguing too.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Again, I'm not just arguing a level of subjectivity to everything, right? I understand there's going to be subjectivity that you can't quantify, right? So we have to go based off of something.
Something.
Right? We got to go based
off
of something.
I want to know what the Nene metric's going to be. What's the Nene metric for fucking successful music careers?
Well, that's an argument that we're all making as creators, because we need to establish that, because it needs to be valued correctly.
All right.
That is a vested interest that we have as content creators, right?
I agree.
Because I don't want the YouTube splits to be trash. That's what it comes down to.
I want your proposal next week.
There you go.
All right. I want the proposal.
We got homework.
We got homework. Yeah, I know. But yeah, exactly. I want the proposal. I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh God, it's election season. We're doing a debate.
Exactly. I'm getting Steve Kornacki up here. All this shit.
We're gonna have
the whole fucking shit.
The mediator.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Let's go.